Welcome back to Jewish Grit, where we get real about the challenges, pivots, and purpose-driven journeys of today's Jewish leaders. This episode is extra special. I had the privilege to sit down with Bari Erber, mother of 7, founder of the iconic Bari Lynn accessory brand, and a woman who truly lives Jewish grit. From heartbreak to healing, Bari's story is raw, inspiring, and deeply human. Listen to her story this week on Jewish Grit.
Hi, so I'm Bari Erber, founder and president of a company called Bari Lynn Accessories. We're a children's fashion house of accessories. We do everything that's backpacks. We sell to 6,000 stores worldwide. I'm a mom of 7. I was born and raised on the Upper West Side. And even though I work, I really, at this point in my life, have converted more into chesed and philanthropy while running a business so that it allows me to keep on doing what I want to be doing. My mom lost her mom at the age of 13 to ovarian cancer. She basically was told the night before she was nifter, come say goodbye to your mom because she's going to die, and there was no real support system. So one of the organizations I'm actually very involved in is Chai Lifeline, because that really put in, whether it's iShine, Camp Simcha, this is a plug for them, even though I'm not speaking about that. They didn't have that. So my mom sort of struggled through, I guess, PTSD and not having a mom, and met my father, and my grandmother thought she could fix it, and got married very young and was diagnosed with herself after she had 2 young kids at the age of 24 with pre-cervical cancer, and they needed to do a full hysterectomy. And after that, she sort of got addicted to all different types of stuff and really left our lives. First took us with her, wasn't suitable to raise 2 children. And then my grandmother and father fought to get custody back. And my father really raised me. And being raised by a, I guess, first generation Holocaust survivor and an actual Holocaust survivor, it was sort of like
what a mix.
A whirlwind. So my motherly figure was this Holocaust survivor, where there was like, when you're raised, when you talk about mentors and who I looked up to in life, this was my grandmother. She was my rock and my role model. And I remember like all her lessons in life sort of set me up for the grit that you need to survive. Like, we lost the basketball game and I was devastated, and I came home and literally looks me straight in the eye and she said to me, "Do you think we played basketball in Auschwitz?" And that's all I needed to hear, because like, you're correct. With that, it was like the loving hands of like her and my father sort of raising me. I went to Israel. I think I was one of the first to this online college stuff. I did Thomas Edison State University through Shalheven and Malot. I clept myself through college. So I went on for my doctorate. In the midst of that, I ended up getting married. I had my first kid 11 months after I got married, and I continued teaching, and I was teaching on the Upper West Side at the JCC in Manhattan and helping diagnose kids early on and teaching their early childhood program and giving them a Jewish curriculum. And my grandmother was happy with what I was doing, and we were living around the corner from her. And when my daughter turned 3 and I had my second kid, there was no good barrettes out there. And I said, okay, I can make barrettes. I'm a crafty mama. I teach nursery school. I know how to use a hot glue gun. We had to go to a wedding in Washington. I remember stopping at every single Michael's along the way to pick up supplies, because we didn't have wholesale distribution then. It was like we would buy whatever was in stock and make barrettes. My husband was in real estate. He ended up leaving real estate and coming into the business. Now he runs the entire low-end division. So he sells to TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Burlington, Ross. He does mass market. I do high-end and specialty stores. And now we have this global company that's called Dambar Global. They'll ask if it's the same thing. His is more mass-produced. Mine is more Swarovski crystals. We have a license with them, and more raw materials coming in from overseas, and then we hand make them on the Upper West Side. So it's more of a niche market. But at this point in my life, along the way, I started getting involved in a lot of Jewish organizations.
Take me like maybe through like 1 or 2 major challenges that you might have had business-wise, and how did you have the inner strength to overcome it? Like, what builds you to overcome those challenges?
So a good friend of mine always says to me, Kol yom b'yomo. Every day in its day.
Okay.
A lot of us overreach in what our goals are for the day, what our goals are for the week, what our goals are for the month. So I really, every day, I'm very old school, like pen and paper. Like I don't save meetings in my phone. You're lucky I even remembered the way I was supposed to be. But I kept on getting texts. So I was like, oh, I got this.
I'm persistent.
Yeah. But I'm very goal driven. Like my niece, Baruch Hashem, got married last night. Okay, I need to get to Tuesday. I'm making Sheva Brachas for 80 people for the family tomorrow. Tomorrow's tomorrow. Today, what do I need to achieve? I need to achieve Neiman's and Saks holiday items, a podcast, a doctor's visit with my kid, like, because setting yourself up to get frustrated is not my thing. Like, yes, at times my husband will say, I yell like a banshee. I like yesterday when my kids weren't in the car at 3:00, I wanted to murder everybody because like, to me, when you need to be in the moment, you need to be in the moment. And at 4:00, my sister-in-law needed me to be in the moment. I was going to be there in the moment. So I try to do that. I don't need my phone all the time. Like, I need to be in the moment. And I think that's what grounds me as a mother. That's what grounds me as a worker. That's what grounds me as a member of a community. Like, and that's also the beauty of being an Orthodox Jew. I'm not afraid to be without my phone. We have Shabbos every single week. I'm without my phone. I got this. Like, I know how to be a mom. I know how to not have to look people in the eyes. I know how to have normal conversations. I don't need to be texting. Yes, am I on my phone? I'm sure it would tell you I'm on my phone 8 hours a day. Most of that time is between 12 and 3:00 in the morning. But when I need to speak to China, but you need to be real. You need to not put yourself on a pedestal. You need to get down and dirty. You need to roll up your sleeves. When I have meetings in my office, let's say with Neiman Marcus, I'm on the floor designing for them. I'm not sitting up there snapping my fingers. I am getting the work done because at the end of the day, listen, could I delegate? I'm sure I could delegate, but like it's in my head. So it's much easier to just
do it yourself.
Exactly. Take care of the things. It's really just being present. Like there's nothing you can change. Look what's going on in Israel.
Right, it's crazy.
Thursday morning, no one thought there was going to be a war Thursday night, and Thursday night there's a war. And you see these Jews in bomb shelters in Israel dancing and singing Odio Ter Tov. Why? They're in the moment. All they care about is that moment. They're not thinking about 5 weeks from now. So that's really something that I try to like, what can I do now? How can I help now? I was in a supermarket. It's a Jewish community that's very different from Manhattan. Manhattan is sort of like you're in an out-of-town community, but in town, but like you would never act in certain ways because you're still amongst everybody else. So you sort of have to be like a role model because if you're rude, you're a Jew that's being rude. Mm-hmm. So it's like sort of, okay. So I was in the thing and this guy behind me was like yelling to like move faster in a checkout line. And I turned around to him. I'm like, are you a brain surgeon? He's like, no. I'm like, he's like, why? I'm like, because what is so important that you're making the like cash register shake that you need to go? He's like, well, I've been waiting for 15 minutes. I was like, would you like to go in front of me? Like, nothing is that important, like that she's like quivering, that you're yelling. Like, I don't know, that's just how I was raised. And maybe it was because I was raised by like two real immigrants. My grandfather was an IDF soldier and my grandmother worked for Mangala, and like they knew how to walk on eggshells. So like that was what postured them in life. Like, I don't know, maybe it was because they never turned people away and their house was always open, but I'm always like, think about how the other person feels. Like, my husband is probably going to watch this and laugh because he's going to be like, do you ever think about how I feel? But like, like I always say, like, at least I'm just crazy to you. Like, to the outside world,
I'm pretty normal.
I'm pretty normal. So like, at least you have a normal wife. Like, we should be golden. But I don't know. Like, I always try to think, like, even with my kids, each of my kids has so many different needs. And like, everyone's like, oh, a picture perfect. No one has a picture perfect anything. And if that's what you think, then like, you need more therapy than I need. Like, no one's picture perfect, and it's how we get through it and how we move forward and how we grow from each experience. And I always say, if you're staying stagnant and you're not growing, whether it's religiously, professionally, emotionally, socially, everything, you're falling because there's no status quo. It's like you're going up or down, which is life. It's waves. The relationships are waves. Relationships are work. Your kids, I mean, but that's really like my motto in life. Like, we all have to put in our shtadlus, and whether the other person meets us at the same intensity as us, that's how you get hurt. Because if what you're giving is for someone else, you're never going to feel satisfied. Right. You just have to give, and that giving needs to be your end goal. And what you get back in return, that's something from God.
What would you tell your younger self?
Make mistakes. You live once. I always say to my kids, YOLO. When you're a kid, you have the listen, I'm not saying make grave mistakes, but I'm saying accepting mistakes and growing from mistakes is part of the journey in life, even in Yiddishkeit. I mean, why do we do tshuva? Because we made mistakes. Our whole premise of life is what saves us in life, tshuva, tefillah, and staka. Because we acknowledge that there's mistakes and there are mishaps, and how do you grow? You grow. I think in life now, these tiger moms, I mean, MDS is going to laugh because I have this philosophy. I don't care about homework. Like, if COVID taught us nothing, it wasn't important. Like, I care about a good social, emotional well-being. And how do you get there? You make mistakes. I had a father and I had a grandmother and I had a grandfather who I knew were my safety nets. They were my end-all be-all. Like, if I came home and I was like, I got in trouble today, they would walk me through it. They wouldn't give in for me. They wouldn't go and fight my battles for me. They would give me the tools, and I think that's what's missing a lot in this day and age. In this day and age, I don't fight my kids' battles. My kids will say to me, I got in trouble. You got to deal with it. You got detention. You did something wrong. You got to deal with it. But that's what gives them the grit. Because if you don't give them that grit, they think mommy and daddy are coming to save them, and they know that I'm always going to be there for them. But like, you mess up, you're fixing it.
What makes you the proudest part of being a Jewish woman?
Oh, I would. People always say to me, we had this game over Shavuos in my family. Name something you would give up and something you would add on. Like, and I don't know, like the whole concept of it to me, the whole Shabbos, setting aside for your family and friends, and Hachnasas Orchem, driving, purpose. I said, I actually just spoke at a conference in Israel, and I spoke for Aish, and I was speaking about, we got very involved in Aish, and Aish to me is it's very like Olami. You're taking these kids or these people that aren't really so involved, and you're involving them. What are you involving them in? And I say this, and this is the word Aish to me. It's that spark, it's that fire. Sometimes it's dull, and sometimes it's on high blast. After October 7th, we have a whole new crew of Jews that fire is on high blast, because they realize they were insulated. We're Jewish, but we don't have to say it, but no one's going to ever attack us. And now it doesn't matter. A Jew is a Jew. Whether you're unaffiliated, you're Orthodox, you're Haredi, we're all the same, okay? So now, what are you going to do with that spark? How are you going to spark that spark? What makes you proud to have that spark? And for me, it's everything. It's the generations I wear on my arm every single day. These are my grandmother's numbers.
Oh, wow, wow.
Nothing about me doesn't forget what my grandmother did and what now this generation is going to do to keep this. Listen, we're not around for 100 years. We've been tried to be defeated before, but we have to work together, and we have to be role models for all of Klal Yisrael to do what we have to do in life and to be pillars of communities and the world. Because yes, we're a very small percentage of the population, but they look at us. And look what's at the forefront of the newspaper. You can't open a newspaper without seeing the word World Israel. Anti-Semitism in New York. Why? Why? Listen, that's how we're going to do Tikkun Olam, and that's how that spark. And that's when you go back to spirituality. Sometimes when I'm like, okay, it's dull, I need a trip to Israel. Okay, it's dull, I need to do that. Like, it depends what it is. But like, for me, it's really, as long as that chesed is firing up inside of me, I feel like, okay, this is my tafkid. Right. Like, this is my, yes, can I daven in the morning? It's not hitting the same spots. It doesn't feel like, okay, I've now hit my purpose. That's not like, listen, there are learners that get that same flame. Right. They open a daf of Gemara and they're ready to go. And now you look and I see a Shabbos Kestemam, a Lizzie Savetsky, a Montana Tucker, all these people that some of them knew, but the ones that didn't know, Montana Tucker had that spark from going to visit Auschwitz, which her grandparents went through. This is a third generation that was removed already. And now look, she's out there on red carpets pounding the pavement to raise awareness of what's going on. These are my reminders of what we are.
That probably just is like...
Here's the map of Israel.
Wow.
My Jewish star, my evil eye, and that will forever live.
Wow. Wow, that's Jewish grit right there. I'm being serious. Am I right? This is the past, the perseverance of the present and the future that will always linger. Wow, that's really powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bari.
No problem.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Jewish Grit, an Olami Mentorship podcast. At Olami Mentorship, we believe that everyone needs a mentor. What better way is there to tap into your personal and professional potential than with a Jewish mentor at your side? Learn more at olami.org/mentorship. And don't forget to keep listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.